Time for us to go to the Ouyen United Kangas report. And, I'll tell you what, Andrew Wilsmore's just so pumped. He's handballed the job, and that would be the first time, I reckon, that he's done a handball stat for a while, although he's been handballing a bit this year. We've got the coach, though, Scotty Grigg. How are you there, Scotty?
Very good, Flo, man. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. They tell me too that Andrew, he told me early in the season he was growing a crop of barley. I didn't know that he was going on holidays to Bali.
Queensland, and next week he's off to Bali, so his crop's blossoming.
He's blossoming away on holidays. Let's go to what's important, the football side. And you blokes put in a pretty good last quarter to fight back, but Mildura got you 15-9-99 to the Kangas 11-10-76 at the Fortress at Underbull on the Ladies' Day too. It just wasn't your day.
No, like I said before, we had a bit of a chat, and it's probably resembled our whole season, to be honest. We haven't been able to put a full quarter effort together, and it's probably resembled just our training patterns and our lack of ability to get the whole group together with continuity. You know, we live by a motto of family comes first, work comes second, and other things, which footy includes, comes third in your life. And if family and work do affect your ability to get to training, unfortunately it affects your outcome on a Saturday, and that's one of the major reasons why we haven't been able to put four quarters together. And unfortunately, we just had to pick guys that aren't physically or mentally fit due to the amount of injuries we've had at senior level.
Yeah, it's a tough season, and you've got the personnel. Kane Stevens, for mine, he's the biggest loss, because last year I thought he was a revelation in your side. I know that we all talk about the quality, if you like, of Dallas Wilsmore and what that brought back to the club and to the junior players, having a guy that was listed on a Hawthorn list and played a couple of senior levels at AFL. But having Kane, he was just absolutely sensational last year, and he's been out for 8 weeks, so I think it's really hurt you.
Oh, it definitely has, mate. Like last year, Dallas and Kane basically rotated forward on ball for most of the year and were able to kick 70 goals between them. And without that rotation, it's definitely affected our ability to hit the scoreboard as often as we need to.
Yeah, Stanbrook going up back home too, a family reason there, and that has just made for another big hole in your forward line. And also, I mean, Valence, your co-coach, he's been an absolute star for many years at Underbull, and then now with the Kangas. He's a huge loss out of your centre-half forward position.
Oh, definitely. He works very hard up and down the ground and provides not only a marking contest, but at the very least a contest in our forward half that brings others into the game. And yeah, he just hasn't been able to get his knee right all season, and doesn't look like he'll get on the ground this year.
Yeah, doesn't look like it. Reid Stevens booted 4. David Jeffries, good on him. He come up to senior level and he booted a couple. How did you rate Sam Kerridge? You got to see him in the flesh. 6 goals, playing some pretty good footy. He hasn't lost that ability to, I don't know, it's that sort of a guy that seems to get the ball, wiggles the hips a bit like Dacos used to, and he kicks goals that he shouldn't kick.
Yeah, he's definitely a very good, he executes his goal-kicking skill to the max. He rarely misses. He's a very good judge. When he has someone accountable for him in the midfield, he takes them forward, and he knows who to take forward, so he rotates him from position to position to get a mismatch, and he definitely strikes when that happens.
He did on the weekend, that third quarter. It was just, they were good. I mean, and I think the crowd and a lot of the old-timers watching would comment, they were good, and you can't stop the old thing of champagne football.
Yeah, I see. Look, he hasn't got a team of stars, but I tell you, he's definitely got a group of listeners and learners, because he's got some really good defensive traits amongst the group, which allows him to win the ball back quite often, and they get it forward into himself, Ant Matthews and Orlando, and they're kicking the scoreboard over on a regular basis, which is I seriously think they're going to be one of the main challenges when it comes to the pointy end of the season.
Yeah, well, it should be, because Irimple and Robinvale Euston played out a game which has seen Irimple drop to a 4th loss for the season, which, I mean, we don't see that from this mighty club, but this is a competitive year, and they got done by Robinvale over at John James, 9-11 to 7-12 in a thriller. This is a very good Robinvale side.
Yeah, I think I think Mildura is more rounded, and I think Irimple are more rounded teams. Robinvale have got a top-end, real quality top 4 or 5 players, and then they've got a lot of role players that are playing their role at the minute. So I just hope, for their sake, that their role players do continue to do that through to the finals. But personally, my pick right now is Irimple. Just they've had a few quality players out. Their ruckman comes back this week. They were 4 goals up against Robinvale, and Robinvale kicked the last 6 goals. So Irimple are doing a lot right too. It's just going to come down to which team's going to be able to give a 4-quarter effort.
Yeah, what a performance it was late with Ethan Gill and Isaiah Johnson getting going, and Benji Neal very good. Daniel Coghlan still best on ground for Irimple again, and just the bloke doesn't lose his talent, that is for sure. What about 14-15, 99 to Merbane, South 11-10, 76. South's finished to the season. They're very competitive. Suddenly they're no longer the easy beat since they changed their coach.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have dug the heels in, and they're raising an effort, which is great by the playing group, considering they lost those quality players that moved back to Sale, and then their coach had to step down for family reasons. So hats off to them for digging their heels in and not just rolling over and allow the season to fade away.
A good effort from Corey Lecker with 4, and Nate Bull and Jeremy Ruddy were very good for the Merbane side. They haven't shown what we thought they would. They've been really competitive all year, and you see that with a side that's won just the 4 matches, lost 7, but their percentage is actually really credible at 100%, 99.76, as they opposed to Redcliffe's 94 and Ouyen United at 83. So they have been really credible in their losses, but it's all about winning in the end of the analysis, and Redcliffe's had a good hit out against Wentworth, but it was Wentworth 16-10, 106 to Redcliffe's 12-11, 83. Gee, that's a good win by Wentworth, because Redcliffe's are on their home deck and they've been dangerous there this year.
Yeah, they have been, but they are starting to get their quality back. So probably, hopefully time doesn't run out and they don't get them as fit as they need to be. But yeah, they're building, definitely building.
They are, with Jared Branders 7 and Lattori with 4, Big Wade with 2, Wade Hancock, Jack Carter very good, Wade Minter 2 going real well, and Vas Tufeo and also Peter Tufeo, the better players in the end for a Redcliffe side which haven't been shabby this year, that is for sure. Actually, we might just go back and have a look before we do at the reserves and the juniors for the Ouyen United Kangas. In the reserve grade last week, it was a tough outing against a side that beat you 19-11 to 3-3. Again, just the depth in the club, they got you done.
Yeah, you know, the reserves, unfortunately, are the result of the injuries at senior level. We're taking away their top-end players, which is what clubs do, and they're not getting continuity in the actual players. The list of players is changing greatly from week to week.
Certainly has been, but Carl Spawn has been a revelation for you this year. Great in the reserves. Benji Nihil, very good, and Frankie Gordon and Patrick Sherry got the things happening. Goals came off the boot of Sherry with 2 and Dom Leach getting 1 off of his big boot. And into the 14-year-old lads. Now, I don't know exactly who won, but I can tell you that your blokes are going real well, and the coach is doing a good job of this group of kids.
Yeah, Mildura got across the line in the under-14s. They were just too tall, and for the under-14s last Saturday. But yeah, that's one of the things that I've really noticed in James Morris's development with the coaching juniors, and just his direction and leadership and what he's trying to teach the kids. Some simple, basic stuff. They're listening and they're executing, and you can see it on a Saturday in the way they move the footy. The way they defend, and they've been really competitive through James's leadership.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, young William Shaddock, look out for this boy. He kicked a couple and he's really rising up in the best players, I've noticed. And Corby Copeman, Harry Stott, and also Tanner Eames and Liam Bond get going too. Corbin Darcy Plant and Harry Scott got goals to add to Willie Shaddock's couple, and everyone's pretty excited to see his development. Having a look at this week's matches, get your tip for the other senior football games, and you've got to tip this almost like you're tipping it for the Ouyen United Kangas benefit, because you may need to have some people lose games for you to actually make the finals now, Coach.
Yes, I'll do that, definitely.
Merbane and Robinvale Euston.
At Merbane, I'll give Merbane a chance. It's going to be a close one, but I'll pick Robinvale.
And Redcliffe's Take-O Rimple in the old Calder Highway Cup. She's a beauty, this one, but I reckon I Rimple at home.
Yeah, I Rimple definitely.
Mildura play South, the old rivals. This one, though, at Brian Waitman Oval for Mildura's home ground. And I think that they'll get the job done. That won't be the margin it might have been 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I think Mildura will win comfortably.
All right, Wentworth and Imperials. And this is a chance for Wentworth to shore things up. Imperials, you'd probably like them to beat Wentworth.
Yeah, I'd love that to happen, but I can't see it happening. So Wentworth easily as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're just hitting some form again now that they've got their big forward back into the side. So it's a good weekend of footy. You blokes get a rest. Do some people hit the golf course? Others go and watch a game. What's happening for you, Coach?
I'm heading to Melbourne tomorrow morning to take some of the younger Indigenous players that we've brought down from Halls Creek to go and watch their cousin play in the Melbourne Adelaide game on Sunday.
Ah, okay. Which player is their cousin?
Shane McAdam.
Young Shane McAdam, yeah. Very good player for the Adelaide Crows forward line. Well done on doing that too, because it's so important for the kids' development to see players at the higher level. And Scotty, we look forward to having you back next week.
No worries, mate. Sounds great.